avoid the inappropriate polite smile, we need to build a reaction bank in your brain.
A reaction bank.
Yes. Just like we learned chunks for speaking, we need to memorize specific reaction chunks for different emotional situations.
Let us build this right now. I need this. What should I say when someone gives me good news?
Instead of just smiling and saying good, use these specific chunks. That's great. Or good for you.
That's great. Good for you. Those are short, energetic, and easy to remember. What about bad news? If someone's phone falls in the toilet or they lose their keys.
You need sympathy chunks. Use "I'm sorry to hear that," or ask a follow-up question, "What happened?"
I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds very natural, empathetic, and polite. What if someone tells me something very surprising, like they won the lottery or saw a bear in the city?
For surprise, you can use "no way," or "seriously," or "I wasn't expecting that."
Seriously? No way. I really like those. They prove that I am actively listening to the story.
And finally, the most important one. What if you do not understand what the person is saying? What if you are completely confused?
This is my most common problem. Usually I just say, "What?" or "Repeat, please."
Saying "what" can sometimes sound a little aggressive or rude. Instead, use these chunks. "What do you mean?" Or "I'm not following."
What do you mean? I'm not following.
Yeah.
That is so much more sophisticated than just staring at them with a blank, confused face.
Let us test your new reaction bank. And I want the listener to participate in this quick reaction challenge with us.
I love a challenge. How does this work?
I'm going to read a short situation, a piece of everyday news. I want you, the listener, to react out loud within 3 seconds. Use a chunk from the reaction bank we just built.
Okay, choose good news, bad news, surprise, or confusion.
I will try it too, and I will give my answer right after the listener.
Okay, situation 1. A friend calls you and says, "I finally passed my driving test today." Pause for 3 seconds.
A great reaction would be, "That's amazing," or "Good for you."
Exactly. Situation 2. A coworker sits down next to you and says, "You won't believe this. My neighbor has 17 cats in his house." Pause for 3 seconds.
I would definitely lean in and say, "Seriously, no way."
Situation 3. A friend texts you, "I lost my favorite winter jacket on the train yesterday." Pause for 3 seconds.
Use sympathy here. "I'm sorry to hear that." Or, "Oh no, what happened?"
Situation 4. Someone is explaining a complicated new software program to you at work, and they are using a lot of technical words and talking very fast. Pause for 3 seconds.
"I'm not following. What do you mean?"
Perfect. By practicing these reactions alone, you train your brain to have them ready in the real world. You will not need to translate them when you are under pressure. They will just pop out of your mouth automatically.
This makes having a conversation feel much less stressful. I don't have to invent a completely new, grammatically perfect sentence every single time it is my turn to speak.
Exactly. You're just managing the flow of the conversation with your chunks. Now, we have talked a lot about reacting to other people, but I want to go back to something we discussed earlier.
What is that?
What if you are completely alone in your English zone? You are making tea, or you are walking to work. There is no one talking to you. You have no one to react to. What should you think about to keep your English brain active?
That is a really good question. Sometimes when I tell myself, "Okay, think in English now," my mind just goes completely blank because there is nothing happening around me.
Right.
It feels like I am standing in an empty room inside my head.
If the room is empty, you must bring in some furniture. You must prompt yourself.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to ask yourself better questions.
Ask myself questions out loud like a crazy person.
You can do it in your head. Why are questions so important? Because a question forces your brain to search for an answer. It gives your internal thoughts a clear, specific direction.
I see.
If you just tell your brain, think in English, your brain gets confused and says, think about what?
That is so true. It is like staring at a blank piece of paper when you have to write an essay. The blank space is intimidating.
But if I ask you a specific question, your brain immediately starts working on the solution. Let us look at some highly useful questions you can ask yourself during your daily English zone.
What kind of questions? Should they be about the news or history?
No, keep them simple and personal. Try these. What am I doing right now? What do I need to get done next? How do I feel today? What am I looking forward to?
Oh, I like those. What am I looking forward to? That is a very positive, motivating question.
Yes, it is.
If I ask myself that while walking to the bus, I can answer, I am looking forward to eating pizza for dinner tonight.
Exactly. It creates a natural thought process in English. Let us do a quick 60-second interview exercise.
Let's do it.
I'm going to ask you, the listener, a few personal questions. I want you to answer them aloud immediately.
Yeah.
Do not worry about having perfect grammar. Just speak the first thought that comes to mind.
Answer out loud wherever you are. Just a short, simple answer.
Question 1. What is one simple thing you did this morning? Pause for 3 seconds.
Good.
Question 2. If you could go anywhere, where would you like to travel next year? Pause for 3 seconds.
All right.
Question 3. What is one small daily habit you want to change? Pause for 3 seconds.
Nice.
Question 4. What are you looking forward to doing this weekend? Pause for 3 seconds.
That is a very powerful exercise. You are forcing the brain to generate original ideas in English on the spot.
The practical takeaway here is to keep a list of 5 simple questions on your phone. Write them in your Notes app today. When you are sitting on the train or taking a walk, open your phone, look at the questions, and answer them in your head.
It is basically like having a tiny, strict English teacher living in my pocket, always giving me a topic to discuss.
Yes. Now, we have practiced answering questions while alone, but we have to face reality. How do we apply this in real-time, face-to-face conversations without freezing up?
The real world. That is always the hardest part. You can practice alone in your bedroom all day, but the pressure of a real human being looking at you, waiting for your answer, changes everything.
To handle that specific social pressure, we use a technique called the 3-second speaking rule.
The 3-second rule. Is that like when you drop a piece of food on the floor and you have 3 seconds to eat it?
No, do not eat food off the floor.
Yeah.
In English conversation, the rule is this. When someone asks you a relatively easy question, you must begin your answer within 3 seconds.
Why 3 seconds? Why not give myself 5 or 10 seconds to think and prepare a really good answer?
Because a long silence is dangerous. A long silence invites your brain's translation mode to wake up and take over.
Whoa, wow.
If you wait 4, 5, or 6 seconds, the office workers in your brain realize you are struggling. They wake up, they grab their native language dictionaries, they start translating, panic begins.
That makes so much psychological sense. When someone asks me a question, if I pause for too long, the silence feels heavy. I start getting nervous. I start trying to build a perfectly complex, beautiful sentence in my native language, and then I realize I don't know the English words for it.
Exactly. The delay causes the translation trap. But here is the secret trick. You do not need to have your whole, entire sentence perfectly prepared in your mind within 3 seconds. You only need to start the engine.
Start the engine. How do I start speaking if I don't know how the sentence will end?
By using an opening chunk, just like the chunks we learned earlier, but these are specifically for opening an answer. You hear a question, and within 3 seconds you say, I think, or I would say, or honestly.
Oh, wow, I understand. So I say, honestly, out loud. And while that one word is coming out of my mouth, my brain buys itself an extra second or two to find the next words.
Yes, the physical act of speaking actually triggers your memory and creates momentum. Let's look at an example. Imagine a coworker asks you, do you prefer reading books or watching movies?
Normally, I would pause in silence for 5 seconds to build the perfect answer. But with the rule, I start immediately. I say, honestly, I prefer movies because they are easier to enjoy after a long day at work.
Perfect. The word honestly started the momentum. Yeah. Once your voice was making sound, the English flowed much more easily than if you were standing in awkward silence.
Let us do a challenge with the listener to test this. The 3-second challenge.
I love it. I'm going to ask a question. Listener, you must start your answer out loud within 3 seconds. Remember, use an opening chunk to start the engine, like I think, or to be honest, or I would say.
Just start speaking. Trust your brain. Do not worry about how the sentence will end.
Question 1. Do you prefer waking up early in the mornings or staying up late in the evenings? Pause for 3 seconds.
You could have started with, I would say I prefer mornings because the house is very quiet.
Question 2. Would you rather have more free time or more money? Pause for 3 seconds.
Honestly, I would definitely choose more money.
Wait, really? You wouldn't choose more free time to relax?
No, because I want the money so I can pay other people to do my difficult chores. Then I will have much more free time to do absolutely nothing. It is a very smart long-term strategy.
That is very clever logic. But notice what just happened. Notice how naturally our conversation flowed right there. You didn't pause for 10 seconds to translate the phrase, pay people to do my chores.
Right.
You just started with honestly and let your thought continue organically.
This 3-second rule truly is a game changer. It forces you out of your head and into the conversation. But I have a very serious question about what happens when things go completely wrong.
What do you mean? What could go wrong?
Even if I use an opening chunk, even if I start speaking quickly, what happens if I am in the middle of a sentence, I am speaking smoothly, and I suddenly forget one specific, very important word?
Ah, the forgotten word. This is a terrifying moment for all language learners.
It is the ultimate roadblock. The brain just stops the whole conversation to search for one translation. It feels like you are driving a fast car and you suddenly crash into a brick wall.
Let me give you a visual scenario. Imagine it is pouring rain outside. You are talking to a colleague in the office, and you want to say, I cannot go to lunch because I forgot my umbrella. But magically, the English word umbrella completely disappears from your memory. It is gone.
Yes, I hate this. And then I stand there silently in the rain looking foolish, while my brain desperately searches through the mental filing cabinets looking for the translation of umbrella.
You do not need to stand in the rain. There is a solution, and it is a communication skill that fluent native speakers use all the time when they forget words. It is called circumlocution.
Circum what? That is an incredibly difficult, intimidating word.
The word itself is difficult, but the idea is actually very simple and practical. Circumlocution simply means talking around the word. You explain the difficult or forgotten term using simpler words that you already know.
Talk around the word, explain it instead of translating it.
Yes, fluent communication is not about knowing a million vocabulary words. Fluent communication is knowing how to find a new route when the main route is blocked.
So, in the rain scenario, if I forget the word umbrella, what do I actually say to my colleague?
You explain what an umbrella does. You describe its function. You say, I forgot the thing you use to stay dry when it rains.
The thing you use to stay dry. Wow, everyone will understand exactly what I mean. I do not need the specific word umbrella at all to communicate my idea.
Exactly. You kept the conversation moving forward. You stayed completely inside the English language. You didn't panic, and you didn't try to translate.
Are there specific phrase patterns we can use to make this explanation process easier?
Yes. Here are 3 amazing rescue patterns you can use whenever your brain forgets a word. It's a thing that. It's a person who. It's a place where.
It's a thing that. It's a person. Oh, it's a place where. These are like emergency tools. Let us play a game to practice this right now.
A word-guessing game. I will act like a learner who has forgotten a word. I will give you an explanation using our rescue patterns. Listener, you and our expert will try to guess the specific word I am trying to say.
We are ready. Give us the first explanation.
Number 1. I forget the word for a large object in my kitchen, so I explain it like this. It's a large cold box where we keep our food fresh. Pause for 3 seconds.
A refrigerator. Or a fridge.
Correct. Number 2. I forget the name of a specific job. I explain it. It's a person who comes to your house to repair broken water pipes. Pause for 3 seconds.
A plumber.
Correct. Number 3. I am looking for a building in the city, but I forget the name. I explain it's a quiet place where you can borrow books for free. Pause for 3 seconds.
A library.
Yes. Let us do a few more just to really solidify this skill. Number 4. I am at the airport, and I panic because I forget a travel word. I say to the staff, it's the small piece of paper that proves I bought a seat, and it lets me get on the airplane. Pause for 3 seconds.
A boarding pass. Or an airplane ticket.
Exactly. Number 5. You are in an office looking for supplies. It's a small tool with 2 sharp metal blades that you use to cut paper. Pause for 3 seconds.
Scissors.
Last one. It's a machine that you use to wash dirty clothes. Pause for 3 seconds.
A washing machine. This is such a powerful tool. When you finally learn how to describe forgotten words, you completely lose the fear of making a mistake. You know that even if a word vanishes from your memory, you can always explain your way out of the situation.
That is the true definition of fluency. We have covered so many incredible techniques today. We talked about creating daily English zones, thinking in visual pictures instead of text, using phrase chunks, building a reaction bank, prompting yourself with questions, using the 3-second rule, and now explaining forgotten words with circumlocution.
It is a lot of fantastic information, but honestly, as a learner, knowledge is only valuable when you actually apply it in a structured way. We need to organize all of these techniques into an actionable, stress-free plan.
I agree completely. Without a plan, you will forget all of this tomorrow. That is why we have designed a 7-day English brain reset. It is a daily routine that only takes about 15 minutes a day.
Just 15 minutes a day. I can definitely commit to that. Walk us through the 7 days in detail. What exactly do I do on day one?
Day 1 is object connections. We practiced this earlier with a chair. On day 1, take 15 minutes to walk around your home. Choose 10 everyday objects. Look directly at them. Name each object in English and then add one fact or opinion about each without translating.
Okay, so day one would look like this. Lamp. This lamp is too bright. Shoe. My black shoe is dirty. Pillow. This pillow is very soft. That is very easy. What is day 2?
Day 2 is routine narration. Remember the English zones. On day 2, pick one daily activity, like making breakfast or doing the laundry. As you do it, narrate your actions in English like a sports commentator. I am walking to the kitchen. I am looking for my keys. I am opening the front door. The weather is cold.
Day 2 is narrating my life like a movie scene. I like that. What about day 3?
Day 3 is reaction training. Go on the internet and watch a short video in English. Maybe a cooking video, a travel vlog, or a movie trailer. Pause the video 5 different times and react aloud using the reaction bank we built.
So the person in the video drops a kick. I pause it and I say out loud, "Oh no, what happened?" Or they show a beautiful beach. I pause it and say, "That's amazing." Day 3 sounds really fun and interactive. What is day 4?
Day 4 is personal questions. Look at the 5 questions you saved on your phone's Notes app. Ask yourself the questions and force yourself to speak for 20 continuous seconds for each answer.
20 seconds can feel like a long time. What am I looking forward to? Well, I am looking forward to seeing my friends this weekend because we are going to a new Italian restaurant, and I really love pasta. Okay, that wasn't too hard. Day 5.
Day 5 is phrase chunks. Take 10 useful chunks from our list, like, to be honest, I'm looking forward to, or give me a second. Write them down and then make them into true personal sentences about your own life.
Connecting the chunks to my actual real life makes them stick in my memory much better. To be honest, I am very tired today. What is day 6?
Day 6 is a little scary for most people, but it is incredibly important. Recording.
Oh no, I absolutely hate hearing my own voice. It sounds so strange on a recording.
Everyone hates their own recorded voice, even professional broadcasters. But it is the fastest way to improve. On day 6, record yourself speaking on your phone for just 2 minutes about any topic. Listen to it back once. Pick just one small thing to improve. Maybe you paused too long when you forgot to use a chunk. Then re-record it.
Just one thing.
Yes. Do not stress over every single grammar mistake. That will destroy your confidence. Just try to improve one element of fluency.
Okay, I will be brave and do day 6. And what is the final challenge? Day 7.
Day 7 is the ultimate test, the English-only walk. Go outside for a 10 to 15-minute walk. During this walk, your inner voice must be entirely in English. Describe what you see, react to the weather, plan your afternoon, combine everything you learned in the week. If you catch yourself translating, just take a breath and switch back to English.
This 7-day reset sounds incredibly effective because it builds the habit step by step without overwhelming the brain. It is very structured.
It is structured to guarantee success. But before we conclude our deep dive today, we must address the ultimate, darkest fear of every language learner.
The darkest fear? You mean the total mind blank?
Yes. The moment of complete emptiness. What happens when you have done the 7-day plan? You are trying your best, but complete panic sets in. during a real high-pressure conversation.
This is the worst feeling in the world. You are in a business meeting, or you are on a date, or you are talking to someone very important. You know your opinion. You are a smart person. But suddenly, every single English word vanishes into thin air. There is just white noise and panic in your head.
We have all been there. For those extreme emergency moments, we have a specific step-by-step framework. It is called the B.R.A.I.N emergency method. B.R.A.I.N.
The B.R.A.I.N method. Please break this down for us. What does the B stand for?
B stands for breathe. A small pause is completely normal in human conversation. It is not a failure. When panic hits, your brain physically starts getting enough oxygen. You must take one deep, calm breath before you do anything else.
Breathe. Okay, that calms the nervous system. What is the R?
R stands for react. You need to buy some time. Use a reaction chunk. Say something like, that's an interesting question, or let me think about that for a second.
This connects perfectly to what we learned earlier about the 3-second rule. The chunk starts the engine and stops the silence. What is the A?
A stands for answer simply. This is where most ambitious learners fail. When they are asked a complex question, they try to sound like a university professor. When your mind is blank, you must lower your expectations. Start with the easiest, simplest, most basic version of your idea.
Just a basic core thought. Do not worry about sounding fancy or intellectual. Just get the point across. What is the I?
I stands for include an example. Broad, abstract concepts are very difficult to talk about in a second language. But examples are easy. Make it a personal, everyday example from your real life. Use the phrase, for example.
Examples ground the conversation in reality. And the N?
N stands for next detail. Add just one more single thought or a contrast to finish your answer strongly. Then stop talking.
Breathe, react, answer simply, include an example, next detail. This sounds amazing, but let us do a mental walkthrough. Show us how this works in a difficult, real-world situation.
Imagine someone asks you a very big, difficult, philosophical question at a dinner party. They ask, do you think social media is good or bad for society? Your mind goes completely blank. Let us build the answer using the B.R.A.I.N method.
Okay, I am the nervous learner. I hear the big question. Is social media good or bad? First step. B, breathe. Pause for 2 seconds.
Your brain has oxygen. Next step. R, react. Use a chunk to buy time.
That is a really interesting question.
Great, you bought 2 seconds of time. Now A, answer simply. Do not give a sociological analysis, just a simple, direct thought.
I think social media is both good and bad.
Excellent. Now, include an example. Think of something practical from everyday life.
For example, it is a great way to send quick messages to friends who live in other countries.
Perfect. Finally, N, next detail. Add one contrast or final thought to close the answer.
However, people spend way too much time looking at their phone screens instead of talking face to face.
And stop there. Put it all together in one flow and listen to how fluent and intelligent you sound.
That is a really interesting question. I think social media is both good and bad. For example, it is a great way to send quick messages to friends who live in other countries. However, people spend way too much time looking at their phone screens instead of talking face to face.
That is a brilliant, clear, and perfectly structured answer. And the most important part, you did it without translating a massive paragraph in your head first. You built it piece by piece using a simple framework.
The B.R.A.I.N method really breaks the panic into small, easy steps. I can definitely remember that in an emergency. Breathe. React. Answer simply. Include an example. Next detail.
As we bring this deep dive to a close, I want you, the listener, to remember something absolutely crucial about your language journey.
Yes, because it is easy to get discouraged. How do we know if we're actually getting better?
Progress does not mean speaking perfectly with 0 grammar mistakes. That is a myth sold by textbooks.
If perfection is a myth, what does real progress actually look like?
Progress is answering a little bit faster today than you did yesterday. Progress is using a phrase chunk, like, to be honest, naturally, without translating it first.
Progress is using circumlocution to describe a forgotten word instead of freezing in embarrassing silence.
Exactly. Progress is speaking your true thoughts out loud, even if you make a small mistake with a verb tense.
The goal of language is human connection, not grammatical perfection.
Thinking in English is not a magical reward that you only receive after your English becomes perfect. That is completely backwards. Thinking in English is how your English becomes better. It is the tool, not the prize.
That is a beautiful and encouraging way to look at it. The more we practice thinking in our small, daily English zones, the faster and stronger our English grows.
You now have all the tools you need. You have the English zones, the visual picture connections, the phrase chunks, the reaction bank, the 3-second rule, and the 7-day reset. Now it is time to take real action.
It is time for the final challenge.
I'm going to ask you a direct question, and I want you to answer for yourself right now, out loud. Here is your specific homework for today. During which daily activity will you practice thinking in English?
Will you practice while cooking dinner tonight? While walking the dog tomorrow morning? Or maybe while trying to find that one missing sock that disappeared in the laundry 3 weeks ago?
Pick your activity right now. Subscribe for more practical English lessons, and share this deep dive with a friend who understands English but feels nervous when speaking. Keep your sentences simple. Give your brain time to build the habit. Keep thinking in English.